following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more into the breach do we go, dear friends. Of course, we meet this same time every trading day.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
It certainly does. And, of course, we've got a market that, of course, down yesterday, up today. We're up 8 points on the S&P cash, 2.1 billion shares on the NYSE consolidated tape. So very light volume for this bounce back up to 2060. I heard Steve Rhodes talking about all the sell signals, and I can't agree with him more. But guess what? We're into we're into expiration week, and option market makers right now have this market pretty much sewn up. They would love to see this market go out at 2050 a week from today. And why I had some positions, went short the third world on Wednesday's close, had a huge bounce yesterday, and, of course, gave it all back today. So I'm back to cash. But it is one of these frustrating markets you've got to keep swinging to make money at. But I have a feeling, or I thought I saw something in the den, maybe Steve Rhodes said it or showed it, that some people were long and thought that the market was going higher. Some people thought it was going lower. And I have a feeling it's going nowhere. And there are a couple of reasons for that. We'll get into them today. But I suspect that we are getting set up for trouble. And it begins with P and ends with L, if you ever watched The Music Maker. But we will get in that today. I am not expecting a whole lot of action in this next week. There may be some opportunities come Wednesday for expiration moves in options, and we'll look at those again. But I dislike a lot of things that I see out there. There are a lot of stocks that should be rallying if the Baltic Dry Index is going up, and they are not. So that tells me that maybe if the shippers are not going higher, if there are not a lot of people piling into them, then maybe everybody's just buying commodities because they think they need to buy commodities. Maybe there's not a lot of people actually consuming those commodities. And maybe we've got the cart before the horse on that. Of course, we had a rumor of a bounce in the crude market because, of course, there was going to be, some kind of cutback. The perennial rumor mill saying that, there has to be one. And so we see crude bounce 5 or 6%. The market dutifully goes with it. But I don't know. I think more than anything, it looks to me like expiration games. And the game here is to run the clock out come next Friday. In the meantime, it's time to get this party started.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
It is nothing but history repeating. And on this day in 1999, online traders spot a Bloomberg News page article, and it says Paragain's Technologies agreed to be acquired by ECI Telecom at a rich premium over its current stock price. Paragain promptly soars 31%, then crashes right back to where it was, and Bloomberg announced the news was fraudulent and cleverly designed to look like a Bloomberg News report. This was not the only time that a phony scam had gone on. Of course, the SEC dug in to what was going on, found somebody that had bought a huge amounts of calls on the stock and promptly arrested them. This it seemed like this happened maybe 3 or 4 times before 2005, and we in fact had the equivalent of this even happen last year. And finally, when something of this nature comes out, the Bloomberg has gotten with all the CEOs and has an emergency phone number. So if it looks like there's some kind of news coming out that seems suspicious, they can call at least somebody, and there will always be somebody to answer that phone. So Bloomberg can actually find out whether it's true or not before they run it. Other media outlets have done the same, and a great deal of these have kind of faded into the woodwork. Can't remember what the one was last year right now. I remember the one that I was involved in just because I had pulled the trigger on the thing, and it just blew up within a matter of minutes. I think it was Elon. It was a company that made networking cards for PCs. And the thing was like $120 and went to $70 in about 20 minutes. And then everybody found out it was bogus. And of course, they invalidated my trade, and it opened up a whole lot lower, and I never was able to get back into it. Didn't lose any money, but it looked like it was ready to move already. Anyway, on this day in 1999, the first of many phony news articles to come out. And if it smells a little funny, it might be. Just think about that a little bit. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com and do so today. We've got a Tiger Day dollar sale yesterday. I remember that. And just remember to check that out. Runs through Monday, April 18th, which is a tax day this year. Please do your best to check that out on the front page of TFNN. And probably one of the best ways to get one of my newsletters at a slightly discounted rate. But they're going pretty good out here. Anywhere from a 10 to 20% bonuses. So check that out. And, they can be as much as 20 and 40%, depending on what you spend. So check that out. Other news of interest. Heard a lot of people talking about I think it was was it the Panama Records? I think it was the Panama Records. Why does this not have it? Oh, there it is right there. Hang on. It is Panama. All those records coming out for Panama. I just had to give a shout out there to that bunch of guys, Van Halen. What a great song. Anyway, there weren't a lot of Americans wrapped up in this. We'll get into this because it goes into the next news story. There are about 5 now that I've seen reported. Most of these people are not public people. But David Geffen, which is a big wheel in the recording business, apparently had lots of cash down there, maybe getting his hands slapped by the Justice Department and the IRS. But he is one of these guys that runs around telling everybody how they should pay more taxes. Very interesting. We're going to get into the meat of this story.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Anyway, of course, the Panama issue is drifting over into the UK. We now have the date for the vote for the British exit or the UK exit of the EU. Anywhere from 5 to 7% above the margin of error is what polls are saying the vote will be yes. And I thought it very interesting to see the kind of action that we've had with that exit, especially with the dollar euro switch, because at least what I've read, and most of this is not coming from the financial press that would want to color it for some reason, but I've seen a lot of articles and they've had several polls. It looks like this thing is going to pass. It could be closer, and of course, there's David Cameron's basically trying to pull his stuff out of the fire today. He was one of those people that had cash in that Panama deal. None of it was untoward or that he didn't pay taxes on, and it wasn't that much money for how rich the guy actually is. But it is a distraction for him, and of course they've literally brought the government to a grinding halt today over his plan to use 9 million pounds of taxpayer money to send pro-EU leaflets to every home in the UK. When this all started to come up almost 9 months ago, the first thing the Parliament did was pass a rule saying that the government could not use its own funds to try to sway the electorate one way or the other. And of course, he promptly ignored it. So my guess is that there's going to be more than enough distractions. And if he has to use his own money to push this through, I doubt if he will. It's kind of like here. You can be a target by just being pro something or again it. But we're starting to see this Panama thing become a distraction in the UK. The more it is a distraction, the more that David Cameron's going to have problems trying to force this through. A lot of the thought is that eventually, at the last moment, everybody is going to say what's going to happen. But the people in the UK know what's happening over in Europe. They are not a bunch of dolts. They have seen what has been the policy over there, and they don't want unbridled immigration into their country. And of course, by the rules, there's no way that you can tell people they can't come in if they're already in the EU. That is probably going to become a bigger issue as we move along. But look, put that on your calendar right now, June 23rd. But I was going to say I was getting back into this, talking to my friend again today in the that's a big Forex trader. He basically thinks that at least the U.S. Treasury is going to keep its foot on the pedal of giant cash machines shooting cash at the Forex market to make sure that the dollar does not go up ahead of this. They think, or at least he thinks, that the U.S. government thinks that this is going to pass. And what they don't want this doing is the dollar index at like 98 or 99 and blowing through 100. The one thing that he says is no matter what you do, there is a brand new bid come in to sell more dollars in the dollar index, especially against the EU. And it is a never-ending torrent. So the thought is that the Treasury is just going to continue to keep its foot on the pedal, and it would be happy if it just stayed at the dollar index stayed at 94.50. But I think they're going to try to get this thing down as far as they can, knowing that when the EU blows up, there's only one way that the dollar can go, and that's going to be much higher. I think that actually causing a bigger problem by not letting this thing settle out, but we could see 11 weeks before the truth comes out, and of course the truth will come out eventually in the price. Just when you thought it was over, they drag us back in, and that's the Apple FBI encryption battle. This morning at about 11 o'clock, another federal lawsuit was actually filed again by the FBI against Apple in Brooklyn. And it says that they have to assist the phone seized in a Brooklyn drug case. It is very unclear whether or not this is actually going to end up in front of the same judge all over again. But it looks like the FBI is not going quietly into that good night. They are going to poke and prod Apple again and again on this issue. I don't think Apple is moving, but government's not big on taking no for an answer. And they are right back at it. And of course, on this, they're saying that since it's an iPhone 6, that they can't get into it. So therefore, Apple must write software to allow them to get into it. And as I've said, if they physically have access to the hardware, they can get in if they want to. This is all about the FBI wanting a key to every phone out there. And even Snowden has gotten involved in all of this. When David Cameron said last night that the whole deal about Panama was a personal issue and no one should get involved, of course, he tweeted out, well, finally, David Cameron's interested in at least some kind of personal security for his information, even though he doesn't want anyone else to have it. And as I said, all these things continue to be a distraction for Cameron to get on with what he thinks that his job is. But if you think this is all over, it is back yet like a bad rash. Look for more discussions about this on Monday now that it's been refiled. We got a lot of charts to look at today. We'll get into those. Maybe I'll find one here before. Maybe we'll just go through the stocks that are really moving the most so far today. Viking Therapeutics off almost 40%. C-Chains off 31%. Ruby Tuesdays, not a great Friday for Ruby Tuesday, off almost a little more than 13%. The Gap, ironically or unironically, I don't know. I'd have to think about that one for a while. Has Gap down 13%. Resource Connection, RECN, if you're unfamiliar with this one, off 10%. Nascent Biotech has a nascent price that's off almost 6%. WD-40, the absolute most beautiful product in the world, off 5.5% today. Anglo Dynamics, never heard of these guys, off almost 7%. Sprott, Physical Silver Trust ETF, off 3.5%. Maybe Tom will bring us up to speed on what they've done once again to snatch huge amounts of money from people that invest in that ETF and Silver Trust ETF. The CME Group off 3%. Deutsche Bank up 3%. Total up 3%. Banco Salandria up 3%. BHP Hilton up 4%. We'll go through the rest of these winners and losers when we come back and then get into charts.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And what does he say on the dollar versus the yen, the big move this week? And he, I asked him, and I don't know if it was him, I can't remember now, or one of my other, I saw it on the news or CNBC. But what I heard was, of course, it was a bond offering that did not go well for the Japanese. And I don't know if they withdrew it or what, but that's what I heard the big move in the yen against the dollar was all about this week. What else do we have? I guess we can go through some of these movers and shakers and see what's going on in the market. Alcoa tried to bounce a little higher today, back down to where it started. Again, not a lot in this that makes you think there is a great deal moving out here. We're up 9 points on the S&P cash, 2.24 billion shares. Alliance Fiber Optic Products, a nice gap back up to resistance. This thing on monstrous volume of 9.2 million shares. Not a high volume stock to begin with, but certainly a huge amount of volume. Normally, I look at these and say an exhaustion move is the most likely thing. And, 2-3 days, if anybody was short this stock, in fact, I guess I could try and check it out. We could see exactly how short everybody has been this stock. Stock database, bin, debug, and stock database. Get up here and get my program up and running. What's the AFOP? Take a quick look. Okay. Somebody thought they knew something. They were shorting this on Wednesday. About 24% of the shares were actually short on Wednesday. So kind of interesting. Yesterday, not much shorting as the market went down. But if we look at the longer-term data for 315, it had pretty decent days to cover, 6.8, and about 10% of the float that was short. So normally, look at these things, you may not get a little bit more, but normally you'll see about 2 or 3 days before you see any more from this. AK Steel Holdings down a little bit. It certainly looked like a great deal of these stocks wanted to pull back. We looked, how many phone calls did we have on FCX yesterday? 20? I saw Tom even telling somebody he wasn't going to talk about it yet again in another hour. Up a little bit on this. I still think that longer term, this thing is coming back to this gap of the 26th of February. You've got some nice volume up days. Yesterday, volume did start to come and increase. Could we do yet another ABC down to get to that 730? I think we could. It could just go sideways for a little bit also. Anglo Dynamics, this one did gap higher this morning and came right back down to earth. Not a huge spread in this guy. What else? We Avex. Let's see what else is going on out here. BHP. Of course, all the juice was in commodities after the news of, or faux news, that there would be some kind of pullback in production from the Saudis. I still think that was just a ruse to grab a lot of people that were short crude. And you had to pop up. Man, talk about a flat day and no volume so far. BBL, BHP Bilton PLC, rather flat out here. And what else do we have? Barclays. We'll go look at a few more of these stocks. You did have these things bounce up. You still had volume that was fairly significant. I'm keying off the February 11th low, and Barclays BCS is the symbol. You've got 852, 6.4 million shares of this thing. And, of course, not a lot of volume yesterday, just popping back into the trading range. What you do have, though, is some fairly significant energy all the way from that March high back into these lows. I suspect any bounce will be short-lived. At best, you could hope for some kind of consolidation and get that to consolidate out. Of course, it's all about that nasty crude oil today. Baker Hughes up a little on this, But again, volume is pretty much pathetic across everything, including the broad indexes and the less than broad indexes. This is up today on 3.6 million shares right now. Yesterday, you had 8.5. My guess is you're going to continue to come in. And of course, you had a nice move up, but no real follow through so far on the 6 with let's call it 15 million shares and 2 days of light and variable. BHP Hilton the other way, looks about the same way, is another gap up. What do you got? 3.7 million shares compared to the candle it's going into, 3.2, 3.4, 4.1 back on the 29th at these price ranges. Just not enough. Now, these don't look as bad. In fact, BHP Hilton I do kind of like that this leg from $28.40 back to $23.40. The energy was fairly light back into here. You would have liked to seen some kind of sign of strength on this gap up. You haven't got it. I still think maybe there's a chance on light volume to get this thing in the 23s. British Petroleum, nice gap up. Volume, it's okay. At least going to exceed yesterday's. This gap down that happened on the 1st of April had 9 million shares compared to our 7 million shares. So you're kind of getting into that now. But it's not overwhelming volume. A lot of these things are setting up that look like they could go sideways. And as we've talked about, a lot of these stocks going into asymmetrical triangles, you can really see these things starting to flat out. And my guess is that we could flat out all the way through next Friday and then see the real action after options expiration and into May. CME, not looking good out here. You've got 3 pretty big candles. The one today with a ton of volume. C is the symbol on this. Had a gap that came from the 12th of February that had been kind of tested a few times as we'd gone through. Energy on the way up to the March 15th high in the CME is about the same energy on the way down. What we have today, though, that high volume move to fill this gap just light and variable. Very interesting to see that much volume in a stock on a fairly light volume day. Credit Suisse, another one kind of looking like the rest of the banks out here. Little pop up, no volume so far, 1.85 million shares. That's into a gap that had almost 5.5 million shares down. That was on the 5th. So I don't see a lot out here other than some dead cat bounces. We'll look at Deutsche Bank when we come back and see if there's anything in it. I'll spoil it. The answer is no.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
If you're looking to discover a new financial resource and diversify your financial portfolio, consider the new Market Safe Commodity Solution CD from Everbank. This 5-year U.S. dollar-denominated CD gives you exposure to 8 equally weighted commodities, including WTI crude oil, gold, silver, copper, nickel, soybeans, corn, and sugar, in one powerful CD. With annual pricing caps of 70% per component, you could earn up to 70% upside payment at maturity if the commodities increase in value across annual pricing dates. And should the opposite should occur, your principal is 100% protected. Keep in mind, returns are based on CD performance. There is no annual percentage yield or periodic rate of interest on this indexed CD. Don't miss out. Take advantage of this financial resource designed to grow with the times. The April 14th funding deadline is quickly approaching, so hurry over to everbank.com/TFNN for the CD's term sheet and other important product details and disclosures. Once again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. This advertisement is sponsored content. Everbank is a member FDIC.
John Logan has just announced that he is hosting a workshop Wednesday, April 20th for all TAS Profile Scanner Plus subscribers, opportunities in the current market, and strategies to profit. In this hour-long workshop, John Logan will use the TAS Profile Scanner Plus to give you a current breakdown of the sectors in the market and the opportunities that are present, as well as providing subscribers with the best strategies to trade with to profit when using this powerful piece of market scanning software. Right now, you can sign up for the TAS Profile Scanner Plus at the front page of TFNN.com. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is such an amazing piece of software that we're even offering a no-questions-asked money-back guarantee for all new paying subscribers. Don't delay, as John Logan's subscriber event is coming up soon. Sign up now for the TAS Profile Scanner Plus and be up and running within minutes using this powerful piece of market scanning software. With a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to lose. Sign up today.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And you can, of course, always email me at path@tfnn.com. I had a few questions out here. We will get to them. How much time do I have out here? Oh, getting into the bottom innings of this last show of the week. So we'll try to get to them first. Deutsche Bank, little bounce out here, not much volume. 2.8 million shares compared to the 5.3 million shares yesterday. It's very hard for me to see how any of these banks, with the looming British exit from the EU, are going to be any stronger. I just think the EU is probably going to be a great deal weaker, and we'll see how that works out. But energy on a lot of these is basically the same on the way up, on the way down. You kind of have to think that yesterday was fairly decent at 5.3 million shares. Just there isn't enough to test this high volume low that goes back to 1478 right now. But my guess is that we're going to get a test of that February 9th low that had 10 million shares, and that's where the rubber will meet the road. Had a question about CCJ. There's an article out on Kamiko, and the question was whether or not this moves with commodities, and the answer is pretty much no. Kamiko, of course, sells uranium to many people around the globe. There was some articles that were probably poorly researched about the ability to get the kind of uranium that most people wanted, or plutonium, for some of these reactors, especially all the Chinese reactors that are going to need it. But I guess the big problem I had with the articles was that kind of inferred that there was a real big shortage of uranium. That's probably not very true. It's a rare earth to begin with, but there's a lot of it in Australia. In fact, there's entire deserts worth of it. But of course, only 1% of that can make uranium-235. What there is differently is some other radioactive chemicals. If you remember the old gas lights, especially the Coleman lanterns, there was a radioactive isotope on those that made them glow really brilliantly white. That chemical itself, or that element itself, is about 20 times more abundant than uranium itself, and is one of the byproducts when uranium actually gives up a little bit of its juice to decay, to atomic decay, becomes that element. And what happens is that element can actually be put back into a reactor and turned into plutonium. There's, like I said, it's about 10 times as prevalent as uranium, and all of it pretty much can be used to create more plutonium. So why I am a big fan of fission, I actually wrote about it in the Tech Insider today in the advances of the last few weeks in that. These guys, even if fission never ever works, will have ways of making uranium and plutonium that can be used in reactors to create power. Literally, you can, as long as you have a little bit of uranium-235, you can use the other stuff out there, thorium, to actually make plutonium, and that's all you really need to generate electricity. So we probably have 1,000 years of thorium convertible into plutonium, but my guess is that in the next less than 20 years, we'll be on to fission and not need uranium anymore anyway, and everybody will just be fishing their helium with an extra little element on it, extra neutron on it, called tritium out of the water, and that's all we'll really need for most of what's going on. So Cameco, I guess its biggest problem would be if fission is actually proved useful. But, there's a lot of money in these plants. I think it's going to be, 20, 30 years before they phase out these plants. In the United States, probably a lot quicker. In the rest of the world where they've continued to build plants, especially in China, they're going to need stuff for years and years to come. Other stocks moving out here, let's take a quick look. Yes, they do. And that's what I wrote about today. Someone was talking about Lockheed Martin. Freeport McMoRan, we already talked about that. FDA. Oh, let's take a look at the Gap, who unironically gapped down today with a ton of volume. The next major low out here is the February 11th low, $22.03, 5 million shares. You're into it with 27 million shares already today. I think that tells you everything you need to know on the Gap, and that is a lot of people, I think, got way out in front of some of these mall retailers. I just don't see, I went by the mall maybe a week ago on Sunday or 2 weeks ago or whatever, and the traffic was still fairly light on a rainy day. That tells me, at least anecdotally, to the Citrus Park Mall down here in Florida, that there is not that kind of traffic coming in. And on a rainy day in Florida, there's not a lot to do. You find most people going to the mall. A good day down here in Florida to check out if there is any business whatsoever coming in, even antidotally. Momo has got some Momo. We talked about this the last couple of days with this huge volume day 2 days ago. It got up to the previous high. But when I've talked about the stock earlier that had the exhaustion move in it, that's pretty indicative of what you see with these stocks when you get all the volume in one day. Normally, I like to see maybe 150, 200% of the volume of maybe the day before when you get a gap up to signal that maybe there's some more movement to the upside. Doesn't mean it's going down, but normally it's very muted like we've seen in Momo here the last 2 days. If you get that much volume, it is very much like the three bears. It can be too cold, it can be just right, or it can be too hot. And this is the kind of move with volume that normally signals an exhaustion move. You would want to look at this thing probably pulling around to 1375. And if there's light volume there, finding some level of a support. Of course, you gapped over the March 7th high that had 4.1 million shares. You did it with 15 million shares, so you got your sign of strength. But it can be too hot. And when it's too hot, normally the light bulb that burns twice as bright only burns half as long. In this case, normally just 1 day. Did a Marathon Oil. Let's take a quick look at this one because we do have these popping back up. This is what I'm seeing even in some of these other ones, and I find that maybe this oil business a little dubious. Marathon Oil going up against its March 18th high, 41 million shares with 17 today. We'll talk more about this when we return from this commercial timeout.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we're back. Quick question from the email, and that was, what did I show on here with all the data? And that is my own program of my own making to go back and record all the daily shorting and put it all together for all the stocks. So if I want to go back and look at how many shares every day Amazon had short, I can go back and look at it. If I want to see the highest in 90 days, I can click a button. And if I want to see the lowest in 90 days, I can click a button. Or the top shorts yesterday in the QQQs was Series, Skyworks Solutions. What else out here? Tesla came in with 27% of the shares short yesterday. That turned around. I think we want to talk about that before the end of the day. Netflix had 26%. Normally, when you see a lot of people shorting, it's either a good sign of a high or a low. It looks to me like this thing is people are just getting in there. And the top shorts in the SPYs, same thing. Skyworks Solution was the highest at 36% yesterday. And see how that worked out. SWKS. Normally, you get a lot of shorts, you get a kind of a move back. Didn't get a whole lot out here. Actually down just a little on the day on a little bit of volume. Let's take a look at Tesla. Everybody, I think, around TFNN knows what I think of Tesla. But you know, it had a nice, huge move. What pretty much affected Tesla, it was about flat on the day. At noon, I'd run out to eat some lunch, and CNBC just happened to be on there with subtitles. And man, were the people slamming it at lunch on CNBC, and you could see it starting to roll over fairly quickly. It is, what do we have out here? I had it on my list of stuff. Where's that? Yeah, it's off $7. It was off like $1 or maybe 50 cents when they started slamming on it, but basically telling everybody what I had already said for the last 6 months or 9 months. But I think really finally what broke its back, at least intraday today, was a big discussion of how much money they're going to have to raise to actually build 300,000 cars. And as I said, it's all good and well, but when you start having to put in billions or maybe tens of billions and sometimes hundreds of billions of dollars in manufacturing capability, it becomes problematic to keep your margins high and your books looking good. When you have a single plant like they have now, you run it 24 hours a day, but man, you start adding more plants, you start adding a lot of cost, robots, all the other stuff, employees, everything else that goes in along with it. And I don't think it's going to matter. I think come next week, everybody's going to forget about everybody telling the problems that Tesla is going to have. But if you're thinking that you like Tesla up here, just remember, it has a forward price earnings ratio of 222. So as Tom O'Brien likes to say, I'm going to give you $222 so you can give me $223 back. Kind of a lot of risk out there. And as I like to say, this company has the next 10 years of growth already priced in it already. Well, that's all I got to say for us this week, other than, of course, get on the stick, go to the front page of TFNN, check out those Tiger Dollars. I've got 2 different newsletters that you can check out. One is the Tech Insider, and the other one is the Path of Least Resistance, a longer-term one and a shorter daily trading newsletter. Both check out on the front page of TFNN. We'll see you Monday, same Pat channel, same Pat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.